On this episode of Finish Friday, we talk about tortured creatives and not fitting in. Hey everybody, it's Todd B from Tennessee, and welcome to Finish Friday, the show that helps more creative people change more lives. And this week, I gotta take a turn down a road that might seem a little dark, because I'm thinking of a lot of people that you'll remember that met tragic ends. Jim Morrison, gone at 27. Jimi Hendrix, gone at 27. Kurt Cobain, dead at 27. Amy Winehouse, dead at 27. And I'm looking now and seeing the news and seeing that the trend is still going. We lost Avicii this year at 28, and Demi Lovato almost dead with the struggles that she's had. And guys, I gotta appeal to you right now. Please understand, you have to come before your art. I think in America specifically, we have a big problem cultivating this act of individual success and acting like it's the only thing that matters. And I have to remind you that it is not the only thing that matters. And I understand that a drug-free message and an alcohol-free message is not the thing to do in 2018, but I am sick and tired of watching all of these creatives with so much potential lose their life before they had to. So this week, one reminder, right? Art second, you first. Art second, you first. If you don't have your center and you're not taking care of yourself and the people around you, all of the artistic success is not going to mean a thing. Last week's footage was so grainy that Ryan had to jump in and remind me, hey, you know what? You actually have to have light so that people can see you whenever you do the show. So I overcompensated and naturally just went outside where I got as much light as possible. This week's question of the week comes from Ankit, and Ankit says, I have a friend who is very sensitive and tries to fit in no matter where she goes. With every new atmosphere, she loses a little bit of her own self. By the time she falls out from that crowd, she has only me left. Do you have a friend like that? Someone who always tries to fit in? And Ankit, this is a great question, and I think it touches on artists specifically. So I've been doing some research, right? Most creative people are introverts. Introversion is this type of personality that comes from being a high reactive individual. And we got some science now that says it starts as early as birth, right? Some people are high reactive and they react wildly to whatever stimulus they have. Some people are low reactive and they're not affected by it as much. These introverts, these high reactive people, are usually artists. And that's why this is important, because you always have a tendency to try to make other people feel comfortable and try to make other people fit in, right? But the deal is, whenever you're finding your voice and your art, you have to make a stand for something, and you can't always fit in. So Ankit, I don't know if I have any advice to you other than encourage your friend to try and stand up for herself or himself. Try to find something that he or she can really plant her flag in and say, hey, this is me. This is something that I'm not going to turn away from, and no matter who I'm around, I'm going to have these values, I'm going to have these personality characteristics. And I think if they start to figure out a little bit who they actually are, not dependent on the identity of any crowd, that's when they're going to find some clarity about who they need to be in the future. This week's Artist Spotlight goes on someone I've been having a huge heart for over the last couple of weeks, even though she's been gone for 7 years, and that person is Amy Winehouse. And specifically, like last week, I was reading over her Wikipedia page because I really want to know, right, what makes a tortured creative a tortured creative. And so I was reading through her page, listening to Back to Black over and over and over again, and I literally just started sobbing at my dining room table because she had so much promise and so much hope. And I was reading about her first album and how excited she must have been, right? Whenever Frank came out, whenever the first album came out, I put myself in that place and I imagined where she must have been. I mean, this was a girl who had dreamed of singing her whole life, didn't like school, didn't like all of these other options that she had, dove into music, finally got her shot. And to imagine that place that she was at where all of her dreams up to that point kind of came true. And then to see it all unravel really because of the dream and because of a lack of center elsewhere is just completely tragic to me. So today, and in keeping with the theme of the show, I have to show a lot of love to Amy, and I have to shout out her parents' foundation, the Amy Winehouse Foundation, who helps kids who are struggling with alcohol and drug addiction, or who might fall into that, right? Future artists of the world that might struggle with something like that. I will, of course, link that up down below if you're interested in donating and helping out some of these kids. They've done great work all over London, and you have to throw in your thanks and your gratitude at least. And if you have a couple extra dollars, make sure to throw them that way as well. Before we get out of here, I got to do this week's Ask the Audience, and I'm going to ask you to put the answer in the comments down below. When I ask this question, what keeps you going when you're feeling low? I love to know what you guys are thinking. Leave the comments down below. I love to chat with you all. And that pretty much does it. Once again, I'm Todd B from Tennessee, and I will talk with you next week.